Some Alachua County parents say they're shocked after a social media post sparked lots of attention on some kind of books available in public schools. School officials are calling it misinformation. TV20's Eli Solache tells us why some parents are doing some digging of their own.
My concern is it's very explicit, very pornographic.
As parents statewide raise concerns about curriculums in schools, Alachua County public school officials are addressing controversial books. The conservative account Libs of TikTok took to Twitter to say the "It's Perfectly Normal" and "This Book is Gay" were available in 3 elementary schools. The books contain explicit drawings of characters engaging in sexual acts.
They don't realize that a book that they are looking at has been out of circulation for years, or that it is not available to students, it's only available to teachers.
Johnson says they are revising the database since one of the books was removed in 2019. She says media specialists determine if the books are appropriate, but parents can also take action.
They can request that that book be reviewed and possibly removed from collections, or they can request that their child not have access to whatever books they don't want them to have access to.
However, some parents argue the book should have never been in school library shelves. The 2 books can be found in public libraries like this one, and some parents want them removed from here too.
Some of the books I know are available in like the public library system. Even then, I think it's very inappropriate, and it's in the children's section. It's not in the adult section and sexuality. It's in the children's area.
They say it encourages masturbation, teaches about gay sex, and consider it pornographic.
I want to make sure that my kids don't have access to this at all.
Some parents argue content in other books is objectionable and will fight until they are off the shelves. Zitlali Solache, TV 20 News.